Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to the greatest American muscle cars of all time. Now, this should be fun because, muscle cars we don't really have muscle cars here in the UK. I can't think of one. It's definitely an American sort of concept. Like, what is the definition of a muscle car? Is it just a very powerful car that produces a lot of torque, has a lot of horsepower? Usually they're quite big. They're not really built like to be light, are they? They're usually quite big cars. When I think of a muscle car, I think of maybe the Ford Mustang. I think that's really the only one I can think of. So, it's going to be fun to learn about muscle cars, to see what the appeal is. Because, if you watch Fast and Furious, like Dominic Toretto, like in the early, even actually in the new Fast and Furious movies, he's always driving a muscle car. Like, what is the appeal? Why are they so loved? And, what are the greatest ones of all time?
Being the number one when it comes to building muscle cars, they have been producing the best muscle cars in the world for decades. In this video, we're presenting you with the best muscle cars to have ever been produced.
Is that an AC
Make
Cobra?
sure to watch the video till the end to find out which American muscle car is the most expensive and why it's worth so much. Hello, and welcome to Blurred. For this video, we will be exploring the greatest American muscle cars ever created. If you're interested in other car-related videos, make sure to check out our other videos here on Blurred. You can go there after this one. So without wasting any more time, let's now take a closer look at the top American muscle cars we found. The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. On a 1969 Dodge Charger, the Daytona featured a massive wing and
Look at the size of the wing, or as we would call it, the spoiler. That is massive. Looks like it's higher than the cabin.
back, along with a pointed nose which made fans tremble with excitement when they see it. It was evident that these muscle cars were out of the norm even back in the 1960s, and fans were highly enthused about them. The Daytona was designed primarily to go faster in NASCAR races. As NASCAR racing became increasingly popular and cars got faster and faster, Daytona's launch made fans even more interested to see its high performance and style. A retractable headlight, air duct top of the fender, a slippery windshield trim around the pillar, and a smoothed-out rear window treatment were among its features. The most noticeable addition, however, was the high...
It's really unique with the pointed front. Like, usually the muscle cars, when I think of a muscle car, I just think the front is wide but flat. It's not really built like that. Because this one, it seems like there's been a really big effort into like making it aerodynamic. Like maybe that's why it's pointy, so it cuts through the air.
Horizontal stabilizer, often referred to as a wing. In racing trim, these innovations added a cherry on top of a cake and made it stand out from all other muscle cars. Nowadays, the Charger Daytona is easily worth more than $150,000.
Wow.
1967 Ford Mustang, Eleanor. Definitely one of the coolest muscle car creations ever.
Cool.
This 1967 Ford Mustang was made even
This one looks mint as well. Absolute mint condition.
famous by Nicolas Cage's Gone in 60 Seconds. It was hand-formed with an aluminum body. There is no doubt that the Ford Mustang builder did not miss any details while creating that masterpiece.
Wow.
This 1969 Mustang was a six-figure professional build that took 5 years to complete. Instead of adorning the pepper gray paint of everyone's favorite Hollywood Ford, this pony wore a rich black two-stage paint job under sublime charcoal stripes, and it rolls as a thoroughbred head-turner that is right at home going on a summer cruise. A clean monochromatic dash made it look more modern and classy. In addition to traditional instruments, there are push-button ignition controls that control modern air conditioning. A leather-wrapped console is topped with a low car shifter and fresh carpet floats, Cobra-themed floor mats. This was one of the most powerful muscle cars ever made, boasting a high-performance 347 V8 engine. The paint job is stunning, and the aluminum body...
What's the speed, though? What's the top speed of these cars, though? And the 0 to 60? I'd love to know. Like, give me some stats.
is incredible. The original Eleanor is worth millions of dollars. A
Wow.
replica 1967 Mustang Eleanor can go for as much as $350,000.
Goodness gracious.
Shelby
me.
427 Cobra. This was the first 427 Cobra built, and it won a Most Significant Cobra award at the annual Amelia Island Concours. Bruce Canepa owns chassis CSX 2001, which was originally a small block Cobra, but later fitted with the 420.
That is such a sexy car, man. Oh, the color's nice too as well. I'm trying to think what color would I have it in. This is a nice color. Maybe I'd have it in red with the white stripes. I'd keep the white stripes, but yeah, red would just, that'd pop.
An engine. In terms of power, the 427 Cobra was the last and most powerful model ever built by Cobra. Introducing the Shelby 427 1965. This race car has won many championships. Despite many cars having been replaced through the years, the 427 Cobra has stood the test of time and is a choice for every generation.
Oh yeah, that red, absolutely.
427 Cobra has stood the test of time and is a choice for every
Hell yeah, oh my God. Driving in that on a summer's day.
generation. Modifications have been made to many muscle cars over the years, but this was an unalterable choice.
Oh,
the fastest street car on the planet in 1968.
Look at that.
There was nothing faster than this monster muscle car.
Oh, look at the interior.
The rawness of the car, the side pipes screaming into your ears, the wind blowing, no side windows, no doors, there was no protection of any kind. Driving one of these is the most visceral experience you will ever have. The Cobra is extremely lightweight. They weigh around 2,300 pounds.
Wow, that is light, man. That's basically just a ton. 1,000 kg. I bet it's super nimble, though. Super nimble.
It is shocking when compared to its power. The legendary engine deserves a closer look. In real terms, these were monster motors, rated at 475 horsepower. It was a win-win situation back then, and it led to a couple mini racing championships. Looking to buy a Cobra? It could cost you up to $5 million. 1976 Pontiac.
5 million. Jeez, man. That's a lot. I guess if you were to source all of the parts yourself and build it yourself, you'd probably save a lot, wouldn't you? But then finding all of the parts would be a complete nightmare. Wouldn't be cheap either. Because, you know, yeah, like, how much, if you were to self-build a car like that, how much, I mean, it's got to have been done before. Because if you're buying it from a dealer, ready-made and all that, you're going to be paying such a humongous markup, aren't you?
Trans Am, Smokey and the Bandit. There would be no doubt that the 1976 Pontiac Trans Am was one of the most lovable cars back in the 1970s, as it made quite an impression on the screen, a car made famous by the film Smokey and the Bandit. Pontiac manufactured a muscle car known as the Trans Am from 1967 to 2002. It was one of the finest cars produced by Pontiac. Its head-turning looks and performance on the racetrack made the Pontiac Trans Am a masterpiece at that time. There's no doubt that the Pontiac Firebird belongs in the Hall of Fame of classic cars. However, it's the Trans Am model that truly stands out. If you are looking to purchase a Smokey and the Bandit replica, it will set you back an astounding amount of money, about $100,000. The original Smokey and the Bandit car from Burt Reynolds' personal collection sold for a shocking amount of money, $317,500. 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge.
Yeah,
this was the fastest.
I think this was the car from Blade, the first Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. I think this was what he drove. I'm pretty sure.
Ever built in the 1960s,
Such
and was the only Judge
car
to be equipped with Ram Air 4 engines. With a 400 horsepower V8 and a 4-speed manual transmission, this 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge is a real deal factory built Judge. Completely rebuilt and finished in Atoll blue with parchment vinyl interior and Judge decals, it got a complete frame-off restoration. The standard equipment on the Judge included Rally 2 wheels with redline tires, a Hurst shifter, a wood-trimmed steering wheel, a rear spoiler, a rear window defogger, power steering,
Oh man, I bet those seats are super comfy. Like they're racing seats, but they look well padded, nice leather.
And front disc brakes. Packed with the options the 1969 GTO came with Judge decals, coupled with a race car-inspired interior with bucket seats, custom console, factory tack and gauge package, power steering, power disc brakes, and factory air conditioning, made the GTO one of the greatest Pontiac muscle cars ever built. Looking to buy a GTO? Plan on it setting you back a substantial amount of money, about $100,000 for a well-restored model.
Is it me or like most of these muscle cars, they're rear wheel drive? Is that like why was that choice made?
1979 Plymouth Roadrunner
Look
Superbird.
at that.
One of the first things
Very
that comes to
unique.
mind when we think about the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird is its
Reminds me of this one, the Dodge Charger, quite a lot. It's got the same pointed front, massive wing.
enormous rear wing. However, its rear wing should not be its only legacy. There was much more to this Plymouth than meets the eye. In the 1970s, most muscle cars were built for drag racing, while few were built for circuit racing, as NASCAR rules required each model to produce 1,920 road-registered examples for the vehicle to compete. The Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird was made available to the public, despite the Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird being specifically designed as a stock car racer. Its aerodynamic features were developed in a wind tunnel so that the Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird could have the ultimate performance. It was only through the day and night efforts of the builders that the Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird was able to be equipped with 3 distinct engines. In terms of size and power, the smallest and least powerful engine in the lineup is the 440 cubic inch 7.2-liter V8 engine with 375 horsepower.
Still a lot of power.
Incorporating many insane upgrades, the Roadrunner Superbird became the boss of NASCAR based on the Plymouth Roadrunner. Even though it shared many design cues with its sister car, the Charger Daytona, the Plymouth Roadrunner Superbird was still easily distinguishable as an impressive racer. Looking to add a Roadrunner Superbird to your garage? Plan on it costing you a ridiculous amount of money, about $375,000. 1987 Buick
Man, it seems like if you want a one of these muscle cars, it's not going to be cheap. But I suppose this, because the rarity of them, you're not going to find these everywhere. Like these are cars from, decades past. And to find them in mint condition, to get the parts for these cars must be really, really difficult. So it kind of makes sense, that they are so expensive.
GNX. Despite never being intended to be a high-performance vehicle,
Look at that.
the Buick Grand National quickly gained a devoted following of enthusiasts because of its aggressive look and low production numbers, and only a few cars in history have ever made this status and recognition so fast.
Very unique.
The Grand
looking.
National has become a performance icon by 1986, and Buick's engineers knew it could be improved. With the Garrett turbocharger, a better intercooler, larger injectors, and a low-restriction exhaust system, they decided to take the engine to the next level. A more aggressive alignment and larger anti-roll bars were also added to the suspension. All these factors combined to produce a rocket that reached 60 miles per hour in just 4.6 seconds and completed the quarter mile in around 13 seconds. And even after 35 years, those aren't bad numbers. Plan on spending an insane amount of money to own one. Barrett Jackson auctioned a near-perfect example of the 1987 Buick GNX for $550,000. Wow!
The way it took that
2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye.
Don't get me wrong, this is a lovely looking car, but I do prefer like the older aesthetic, It just has a certain charm to it,
That the 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat is one of the best modern muscle cars ever made, as it's got so many features that are unique and renowned for their advanced technology or their novelty. In addition, many of these features were well received by the public, attracting more buyers and contributing to the publicity of Challenger Hellcat. No attempt was made to hide the fact that it was a muscle car from its appearance, sound, feel, and behavior. This muscle car speaks class. Its beauty is truly unhidden and magical. This is a muscle car that everyone dreams of owning one day, or at least riding in
It
once
does
in their
look
lifetime.
very,
When
very
building this
cool.
beast of a muscle car, the major focus was on sheer power. The 6.2-liter supercharged behemoth of a motor is factory rated at nearly 800 horsepower.
God damn, 800. Holy shit. Wow. This thing must get up to like what, 175, 180 miles an hour? Something like that?
And with either an automatic or manual transmission, and a racetrack-tuned suspension allowed this beast to immediately dominate the streets and racetracks.
What's the top
Another
speed?
feature found in this car is its valet mode, which is used when the owner lends the car out to others. This
I need to know. Hold on a minute. So this is the 2015 Dodge Charger Hellcat. So 2015 Dodge Charger Hellcat, top speed 204. Holy shit. Oh no, NHRA certified quarter mile. Is this a standard one or has this been modded? Still, 204 miles an hour is insane. Insane.
limits the RPM to 4,000 and
That's like
allows
supercar
only second-gear
status.
starts. It also has got the Uconnect access system, which provides maps for driver clarity as well as a Bluetooth connection. The 2015 model also has keyless entry, a new 7-inch gauge cluster, and a new performance electronic shifter. The 2015 Hellcat Challenger was released with most modern technology, the most aggressive body style of its time, every feature you could dream of, and almost 1,000 horsepower changed the game in American muscle cars. You can buy a 2015 Hellcat for a very reasonable price. You can find some nice examples for about $50,000. Not too bad considering the cost of the cars on the rest of this list.
Yeah.
Comment
definitely.
below on what is the next muscle car that you'll be
Wow.
adding to your...
For me, if I had to pick my favorites, it's between the Buick GNX and the Cobra. Like, to be honest, all of the cars on this list were incredible. I would, owning any of these cars would be just fantastic. I would drive the hell out of them. But those two, the Cobra in particular, just, the Cobra, it just has this sort of like elegance to it. And the fact that it's so light and doesn't have, much in terms of weight, that thing is a beast on the track, man. You know that you can just, the acceleration is going to be ridiculous. And the GNX, man, it just looks like a final boss car, like absolutely insane. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.